deep within the emerald heart of the ancient forest, a massive lion lay fast asleep in the cool, deep shade. The world seemed to hold its breath as his golden chest rose and fell with heavy, rhythmic breaths. Sunlight filtered through the canopy, dancing across his magnificent mane. He was the undisputed king, a mountain of fur and muscle at rest. Nearby, the forest floor was a mosaic of dry, brittle leaves and tangled roots. A tiny mouse, driven by a frantic purpose, scurried through the undergrowth. Her eyes were fixed on a path ahead, oblivious to the sleeping giant. In her haste, she made a fateful mistake. With a soft rustle, she accidentally sprinted directly across the lion's sensitive black nose, her tiny claws sparking a sudden, violent awakening. The lion snapped his eyes open, amber orbs burning with sudden fury. Golden mane bristled, roaring thunderously. Velvet poured down, pinning the trembling mouse to the dark dirt. The mouse looked up at the towering, razor-sharp claws, her tiny heart hammering against her ribs. "Please, mighty king, spare me," she squeaked, terror-laced voice. "Kindness repaid." Lion eyed the speck. He let out a booming laugh that echoed through the ravine, his sides heaving with genuine amusement. "You repay me?" he chuckled. "The thought of such a tiny creature helping a king is the best joke I have heard in years." Amused by her spirit, he lifted his paw, and the mouse vanished into the shadows. 3 days passed under the heat of the summer sun. The lion was prowling through a narrow, rocky ravine, his mind on the hunt. He did not notice the subtle disturbance in the dirt. Suddenly, the ground gave way. Heavy, thick hemp ropes snapped upward with a violent crack, binding his powerful legs and hauling him against the trunk of a massive oak tree. The lion lunged and thrashed, his claws tearing uselessly at the air and the bark. He was a master of the wild, yet he was caught like a common fly in a web. The more he struggled, the tighter the cruel knots pulled against his skin, biting deep into his fur. Realizing his strength was useless, he let out a desperate, echoing roar of agony and frustration that silenced every bird in the canopy. A cry for help from a king who had never needed it before. High above the chaos, perched on a swaying branch, the mouse heard the familiar, angry sound. She did not hesitate. Recognizing the voice of the one who had spared her, she darted down the rough bark of the trunk and sprinted across the forest floor. She reached the trap in seconds, finding the mighty lion exhausted and bound. "Do not fear, Majesty," she whispered, though the lion could barely hear her. She climbed onto the thick, taut ropes that held the weight of the beast. With rapid, sharp bites, she began to gnaw at the fibers. One by one, the strands of hemp began to fray. The mouse worked with tireless precision, her tiny teeth working against the stubborn cord. Snap! The first major rope parted, then another. The lion felt the suffocating tension begin to loosen. He waited, watching the tiny creature work. Finally, with a final powerful surge of his hind legs, the remaining ropes gave way. The lion tumbled onto the soft grass, gasping for air, finally and miraculously free from the hunter's grasp. The lion stood up and shook his magnificent mane, regaining his dignity. He looked down at the small mouse with a new sense of wonder. He nodded once, a silent gesture of profound respect. Kindness, he realized, is never wasted. Without a word, he turned and disappeared into the deep shadows of the woods.